Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Amber, and today I'm joined by my father, Bob. Say hi to the folks, Bob. And today we are beginning a new little series, which is going to be called Memory Lane Mondays with Dad. So Dad is 82, and years young, right? Just a few years. And he came to live with us almost 3 years ago. So we just wanted to capture some things, some history and some memories on film. So I hope you will enjoy this series. So today he's going to be sharing about meeting our mother for the first time. So the year was
1958.
58?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to share with us their first meeting.
Well, it was kind of interesting in a way. I was recovering from, had been injured from at work, and I was paralyzed from my waist down. And so to get the ability back to walk again, I joined the YMCA and went through all kinds of gymnastics and calisthenics. And after about several weeks, I was able to do some walking. So one evening, it was a Saturday evening, on my way out, I was ready to go home. Didn't have much interest in dating, didn't have a girlfriend or anything like that. But I was getting ready to walk out, and the register said, excuse me, but could you help us? And I said, sure, why not? I didn't have anything else to do. And the lady says, well, our disc jockey has called in sick, and we have dances every Saturday for our student nurses at a local hospital. And right now, we don't have anybody. Could you help us? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? I don't know anything about disc jockeying. I said, but I'll do it. And so I walked a couple blocks up the street where the YWCA was. And well,
that was for women?
That was for the student nurses.
Oh, okay.
And while I'm setting up, the director told me that if these nurses would be getting there, the young gentlemen that were going to be doing the dances were already on one side of the room. And so I was setting up the record player and everything, and here comes this bus. And it was about 25 or 30, these nurses with their white caps and everything and capes. And they came into the room, and they were all young and real nice. And I still didn't pay that much attention to them because I was tired. And the director told the men to go across the room and choose their partners. And so, to make a long story short, they chose their partners, and I started the records and everything, and there was one who hadn't been chosen of the nurses. So I looked over there, and I asked one of the guys who was there, I said, would you take care of the record player? And he said, sure. So I went over there, and then to me, she was don't get me wrong, but she was glowing like an angel. And I asked, I said, you know, I told her who I was, and she said, she looked up at me and she introduced herself also. I asked her if I could buy her a coat. And so we got to talking, and lo and behold, she was from the country, just like I was, and we had a lot in common to chit-chat about, really. And so as that evening, as she was getting ready to leave, all of them were really, I asked if I could call her, because I didn't have a car or anything. And she said I'd have to call the dormitory where she was staying, because sometimes she had to work on Saturdays and Sundays. And so from there on, when we did have a date, and I didn't have a car, as I said, we would walk up and down the streets of the city, just talking about this or that, and where she was from, and her folks, and my folks, and then us. And when you, on each date, it seemed we would walk all over the city. And we'd get so far, I had to, it was fortunate I'd have enough money from work that I could take a cab to take her back to her dormitory, which was on the other side of the city.
You got your exercise.
Yeah, and I would, when I would get home, I'd tell my folks about her and how she had blue eyes and such lovely hair. Unfortunately, except on the dates, she had to wear it up because nurses aren't allowed to have it blowed down. But I'd tell my folks all about her, and my dad would just look at me and he'd just smile, and he'd call me old man, and he said, yeah, you got your foot in it now. And Mom would, she'd say, why don't you invite her over? And I said, I have, but she can't come all the time. So finally, I was able to invite her over, and I think my aunt, who I was being raised by, she fell in love with her just as much as I was smitten by her. And but then when things started getting a little bit more serious, in that we started going more and more on talking about getting married and everything, we both agreed not to do anything right away, because, and I told her, well, why don't we make no date right now, but wait until she was graduated from nursing school. So a little bit after, about a year later, she was graduated with honors, and we set a date and to be married at a church in her hometown, which was a good, about 300 miles from where I was living. And when, I'll never forget this as long as I live, when we came out, and people they were throwing rice as we came out, and the photographer took pictures.
Mm-hmm.
You could see in the picture, you could see little white dots because it was taken at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I've often said those were really mosquitoes, because down there mosquitoes are so thick. Every evening they have to come by with an airplane and spray.
Mm.
Well, getting on to us getting back, well, we had a 3-day honeymoon in Ocean City, and which was quick but very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And here we got back, we're all both bubbling over and happy and everything, and I had gotten a apartment up on in the better class of the city, which I was fortunate, and it was I'll never forget this either, how much it cost a month.
How much?
$97.13 a month.
Wow, can't beat that with a stick.
But the most interesting thing to come was me opening the door. And of course, I opened the door and I was pushing it open with my foot because I had my wife in my arms.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the door all the way open. I almost dropped her because when I looked, and the apartment was barren.
Uh-huh.
And we had previously, about 3 weeks ago, ordered all new furniture.
Uh-huh.
And it was supposed to have been furnished. There was nothing there but the telephone on the floor.
Wow.
So I called my aunt. I told her, we are up the creek.
Uh-huh.
So to make a long story short, we spent the next 3 weeks living with my aunt and uncle
Wow.
in the upstairs attic.
Wow. What a start, huh?
Yeah. And but you know something? Like I said, being all bubbly newlyweds and everything, it didn't matter. We were happy, and
Made the best of it.
we did, and we were glad to get back in the apartment.
Oh, I bet.
And to give you an idea about how big the apartment was, my wife could only get in the kitchen by herself.
Mm-hmm.
2 people couldn't fit in it.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Yeah.
when she was cooking dinner or something like that, I had to stay out, excuse me, in the living room. And the kitchen and dining room were one. And so whenever we had meals, that was kind of like a dining room and living room combined.
Right. Well, we'll pick back up there on the next segment. But I did want to mention just briefly, how many years were you married?
34.
34 years they were married. My mom's been gone for 26 years now, and we miss her very much, but we have a lot of great memories.
Amen.
So I hope you've enjoyed this time, Memory Lane Mondays with Dad, and hope you'll join us for the next one. Take care, guys. Talk to you later.
Take it along easy.